Is the Garmin Forerunner 235 still worth it? In today's review video, I go over the aspects of the watch that I like, I don't like, go through the watch itself, and then give you my final thoughts. Before we get started, I do want to mention that I bought this watch off of Facebook Marketplace used. I did not buy it brand new. I've had it for about a month and a half or so. So let's get started with the things that I like about the Garmin Forerunner 235. The very first thing that I like about this watch, and probably the most important thing to me as a runner, is that the GPS on this thing is very accurate. I've had watches in the past where I'd be running on the street, I get done with my run, check the map, and it has me running from one side of the street to the other side, back to the other side, back to the other side. So the GPS was off on those watches, but with this watch, the GPS is always on point. For the most part, I run the same loops each and every day, and each and every day when I am done, I check the map. There are no sporadic jumping back and forth, and also the mileage is the same each and every day. Next thing that I like about this watch is the battery. According to the website, it says that it can last up to 11 hours on GPS mode and 9 days on non-GPS mode. Plus, this is what the charging cable looks like, and it's not a simple magnet, but it's actually a clip. And I actually really prefer this clip versus a magnet because I've had magnet charged watches in the past and sometimes it would get disconnected. In terms of the battery life, I haven't had to use it for 11 hours straight in GPS mode. However, I have run 31 miles in this thing in a given day, plus wore it the whole entire day. I ran the 31 miles on my July Calendar Club Challenge, the last day of the month, and the battery didn't die. And for the most part, when I take it off at night and put it on my bedstand, I am pretty surprised that there is so much battery life left. Next pro about the watch, I love how this thing is waterproof. Anytime I'm near water, I don't have to worry about it getting wet. Anytime I'm doing the dishes, anytime I'm hopping into the shower, I generally like to shower with it on just because I can take it off and clean the back as well. A couple more pros about the watch. It is very customizable, and I'll go through this when I go through the watch itself in a bit, but you can customize the settings and customize the stats to whatever it is that you want, however it is that you want it to look. And one of the most important things, cough cough, Fitbit Ionic did not do this, is that Garmin connects with Strava. I don't have to re-upload all my stats after each one of my runs back into Strava. It does it for me automatically. So let's get into the things that I don't like about the Garmin Forerunner 235. The very first thing that I don't like about this watch is the heart rate monitor. The heart rate monitor is very, very off. Some days it's reading normally. My resting heart rate is in the high 40s, low 50s, but a lot of days it has my resting heart rate at 30. I wish I was that fit, but I know for a fact that I don't have a resting heart rate of 30. Next con, if you want to change the band, it is a huge headache. So in order to change the band, you will need these two tools. And if you notice, there is a screw on each side of the watch. And for you to change the band, you have to hold one and then use the other. And it's not as easy as it looks. Probably with a little more practice it'd get easier. And it's not like I change the band super often, but it's just a little awkward where you just have to see. The last con I have about this watch is that the watch itself feels very cheap and plasticky. That's because I believe this watch is primarily made out of plastic. It just doesn't seem that durable in the sense that if I accidentally hit it on something hard, that it won't break. And knowing me and how clumsy I am, that's bound to happen sometime in the future. I've only had this watch for about a month and a half and I haven't slammed it against anything hard since, but you never know what can happen. So that is one of my biggest fear, is to accidentally bump into a counter or something hard and it'll break. And something neutral that I do have to mention is that this watch isn't touchscreen. I thought I was going to mind at first that the watch wasn't touchscreen, but I've come to not really mind it just because I've had touchscreen watches in the past, and when I would touch the screen, it would be really non-responsive. But with this, when you press the buttons, it's really responsive, so I really don't mind. Let's get into the watch itself. The watch itself has a couple buttons. This top left key is a light button, up and down. This top right key is the run button, but also serves as an enter button. And then there's a back key on the right left. And you can customize this face as well. But for me, I just left it like that just because I like the look of that. And if you go down, it'll give your heart rate. And I'm not even wearing the watch right now, but it has my heart rate reading for some reason. So I know the heart rate is off. My resting heart rate, and then the last 4 hours in terms of my heart rate as well as a low and high heart rate. And if the heart rate was working correctly, then it would serve me really well, but since it's not, it is what it is. And right here, steps, mileage, calories burned, upcoming events, the weather, controls, and right now I have it synced to my phone, so that's why the weather pops up, but you can also sync it to your calendar as well, so the calendar stuff will pop up if you have it synced. Notifications, and then let's move on to the run button. With the run button here, so you're ready to run, you're going to click this button. So we'll explore the settings from here. I'm going to click activity settings, data screens. And with the data screens, when you're on a run, you'll have an option of 1 or 2 data screens. And with each data screen, you can customize to whatever it is that you want. So currently right now on my data screen 1, I have this current layout. So it's a 4 layout, so timer, distance, pace, and heart rate. But if I wanted to change it to a 3 layout, that's what it would look like, 2 layout or 1 layout. But right now, I have 4 layout. So I'm going to go back, and you can customize each field. So with each section that was on the 4, you can pick one of these: timer fields, distance fields, pace fields, speed fields, heart rate fields, cadence fields, temperature, elevation, other. But like, let's say if you want to change the timer fields, there's also different types of timers. If you want like a regular timer, a lap timer, last lap timer, etc., etc. So it also gives you the option of having 2 screens, 1 screen or 2 screens. And for me, I have that 4 layout on the first screen. On the second screen, I actually only have a 1 layout. And if you want to turn the screen off for screen 2, you can certainly do that as well, and it'll only show 1 screen. So it is very, very customizable for what you want. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to my run. And let's say I am about to go on a run. GPS is already connected. I'm going to click run. See, that's my first screen. I'm going to click start. So it started. And this is an example of what I personally have personalized for my Garmin. If I click down, this is a timer. Go down from there, heart rate zones. I believe these you can't take out, so only these first 2 screens are customizable. But the third screen, it'll show the heart rate zone. This one also the heart rate zone as well. And then also the time. You may be able to change the last 3 in the actual app itself, but that's what I currently have it at. And let's say you're done with your run. You go to the screen, you can save it, you can discard it, back to activity settings, whatever. And I know we just spoke about the activity settings, but this watch also has a few more cool things. For example, you can upload your own workouts. It also has a training calendar, intervals, finish time. And another cool thing that I use pretty often is the history. If I want to look back on a certain run, on a certain date, activities. So it has the history of my activities. And it goes back, I think, for at least 2 months. If I reverse it, July 3rd. So my history goes back all the way up till July 3rd. And I think July 3rd was the first day that I got this watch, so it probably goes back even a little bit further. So currently right now, the Garmin Forerunner 235 is retailing for $249.99 on the Garmin website. However, you can get it off Amazon for $160 to $170 depending on what color you get. Overall thoughts on the Garmin Forerunner 235. It really just depends on your goals, what you're using it for, and how much you are willing to spend. If you're willing to spend a little bit more money, then you'll get a better watch with more bells and whistles, higher quality, and likely a watch in which their heart rate monitor actually works. But for me personally, this is a good watch for me, at least for the time being, because number one, I'm frugal. Number two, I don't need the heart rate monitor. And number three, it has an accurate GPS. So it does everything that I needed to do at the price point that I'm willing to pay. Thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed that video. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any additional questions for me. We'll love to hear from you all. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I will be doing at least one review a week, reviewing the gear that I use, the food that I eat, or whatever it is. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you want to catch another one of my videos, there's a video right here. There's a video right here. See you all tomorrow.